Sleep is such an important part of our lives. In fact, if you look at self-principle, sleep is one of the core components. And a lack of sleep is linked to all sorts of things like obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, even kidney health. But what about a single night of missing out on sleep? What does it do? What's the data? Let's take a look at that in today's video. Before we get into the data, we have to understand what they were looking at, and they were looking at something called beta amyloid. This is nothing more than a simple piece of protein, and we think it really is a waste product that occurs in the brain. But the impact of this can be devastating on people. In fact, people with Alzheimer's have an accumulation of beta amyloid. Whether beta amyloid causes Alzheimer's or not, that remains to be determined. The one thing we do know about beta amyloid is that in humans, the less you sleep, the more likely you are to have beta amyloid going on. And what we know is that the more beta amyloid that occurs inside the brain, the more likely there is to be impaired brain function. That can manifest itself in lots of things like memory issues and so forth. Now, in this particular study, they looked at 20 healthy adults, 10 men, 10 women, and they used PET scans to be able to trace to see exactly what was happening from one night of not sleeping. And what they showed was that even with a single night of not sleeping, there was increased amount of beta amyloid that was building up in the hippocampal, the parahippocampal, and even the thalamic region. Now, those are fancy words, but bottom line, what it really means is that even one night of not sleeping was having an impact on how well their brain was functioning. So really, the next day, what they did was they tested them on a variety of things. Things like how alert they felt, how tired they felt, friendly, happy, were they social, confused. And what they found was that this one single night of not sleeping subjectively affected all of those markers. And what was fascinating was that those participants who had the highest number of beta amyloid, or the highest concentration of beta amyloid inside their brain, had the greatest impact on things like mood worsening. So what's the bottom line here? Well, really, what this study is telling us once again is that sleep is such an important part of our lives. In fact, getting 7 to 9 hours for adults makes a lot of difference. So you want to make sure, as part of your overall health, have a good sleep hygiene. Make sure you try to get that 7 to 9 hours every night. Have workouts in the morning so that you're primed for the rest of the day. Try to wake up at the same time. Make sure your bedroom is dark, that the only thing that you're doing in there is sleeping, and one other thing. As always, thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and I'll see you guys next time.